features.
Yeah. Yeah. Agreed.
Because my laptop is here, I'm like looking down and all. They fixed my eye contact, man, on the shots.
Oh, nice.
Oh, they've got my eye contact straight. That's what the edit Parina on the revised thing. So if you notice, couple of reels, I'm looking down because my laptop is here, and those guys have actually made it, sorted it out with AI. You have to be really, specific to see that it is not, it doesn't come across as anything artificial. So it is me looking at you, but now I'm looking at you straight, and it's not as if I'm looking down here, because my camera is here and I'm, looking at the
Okay,
camera here.
we're live.
We are live. All right. We are alive. We are live. We live. One word can have so many meanings, man. Live, live, US Studios live, live. This is me warming up right now. You can add it to the blooper reel if you want.
I am going to track mostly the LinkedIn while we are going live on Facebook and YouTube as well.
Yeah. Just see that the audio and all doesn't interrupt. Sometimes when two machines are on with audio live or active, it can
Yeah. So
starts
I need to.
causing
I'm
an
on my
echo.
phone as well. So
Yeah. I will also check. You are live on LinkedIn right now?
yeah. So the yes should
That's
be live any second actually.
cool. I'll also check on my phone that we are live. I used to love this song, Peter, Celine Dion's I'm Alive. I used to run it on a loop, man, once upon a time. Yes, we are live.
Okay, great. Facebook is taking a bit longer.
How long can you hold this sumo squat, Peter?
Oh, in which way?
The way the lady is right now in the picture.
Oh, that's a good question. I think I ever tried. Probably not very long. A few minutes, maybe.
Yeah. Colonel, how far can we go with this?
3 minutes is a good time, I'll say. I think maybe 50 to 60 seconds for me.
Yeah, yeah. And I think when we do the bow and arrow, Parina, if you stretch it, it does require the same
Yeah, it is the same posture.
right? And it does. It can be very demanding if you can take it to 3 minutes, but for a beginner under a minute, like a plank, Colonel, absolutely.
3 minutes is a good time.
I'm definitely gonna have to. Of course, I have to try this today now. Um,
We've credited hundreds, thousands of squads now, so I guess that will help. Better.
yeah,
We've got to our credit. It's fun. Even if it is not fun, you can make it fun.
that's right. You can.
Yeah.
Okay, I think YouTube is also working. LinkedIn, we are live on our homepage, but I just need, I'm trying to connect it to the, yeah, okay, very good here on the event page so that our attendees get a notification.
I'm getting a notification that UF Academy in Studios is live.
Yes.
So, yes.
I, yeah, we'll start in a minute. We'll see if more audience join.
Of the many quotes better that I have in my desk, one of them was interesting stickers somebody gifted. It says, "Climb the mountains, don't carry them."
Right. No, not the Star Academy.
All right, let's begin. Hello, good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar. We are from URJA Academy. URJA Academy is a world-class institution for lifestyle coaching. And today we are going to talk a little bit about building a future in lifestyle coaching, where our passion as lifestyle coaches that came up, and how at Urja Academy we are turning this passion for lifestyle, for health and wellness, and turning it into meaningful, purposeful career in the area of coaching. So that's what we are going to talk about. We're going to touch upon various topics that is part of lifestyle coaching as a career, as well as a passion and for personal development. So as with me, we have today Petter Olsen, who is the co-founder of UF Academy and Studios, our parent company. We have Ravish Tamija, who is the founder of URJA, and Colonel Archana Singh. She is a lifestyle coach. She is a retired Army officer who found her passion in coaching and joined our academy. And I'm Parina Shrestha, also a lifestyle coach at Oja Academy. So I welcome everybody, and yeah, let's start the webinar.
Just one thing I'd like to add. When we say UF Academy and Studios, that's the parent company, guys, and good to see all of you. URJA Academy is an institution, and URJA is what, who we are, and the work we do, and the program that we have. So just to make sure that terminology is sort of clear with everyone. Thanks, Marina. Please continue.
Thank you. So, uh, our first topic, right, when we talk about lifestyle coaching, what is lifestyle? So, Petter, you want to share a little bit about what lifestyle is for you?
Right. So, I mean, I think obviously the meaning is in the word in and of itself. Everybody has a lifestyle, good or bad, and I think. part of what we're going to be talking about today is lifestyle as a more of a holistic, from a holistic perspective. So not specifically focusing on maybe physical performance or physical fitness or mental fitness purely, for that matter, but like lifestyle as a whole from a physical, mental, and emotional well-being perspective. And I know that you, Prina, and Colonel, you both have sort of gone through your own lifestyle changes, if you will. You come from sort of disparate backgrounds. So it would be interesting to kind of talk about what is lifestyle for you? What does it mean in the context of you, purely yourself and the journey that you've taken? Colonel, if you wouldn't mind kind of just shedding a little bit of light on the journey that you've taken and what lifestyle means for you as a person.
Thank you, Peter, for this question. So, lifestyle, as per me, is the culmination or summation of your habits, your daily habits. So, it can start right from the morning. Morning, how you get up, how you move, how you stand, what is the first thing you are taking in as a fuel, how you energize yourself, and then, of course, the whole routine. So that is the lifestyle, and in my terms and conditions. And of course, if your lifestyle is a good in a way, you automatically will turn into a physically and mentally fit person. Now, me coming from the army background, so we initially only we had to be fit, and we had a routine in ourselves, and then we were supposed to continue with that routine. Every year we had a certain kind of test which we need to clear. So physically fit was mandatory out there. Once getting into this civil world, I got to know regarding this URJA. So just as Peter, you mentioned that it is just not keeping fit, but how is the journey? So there is a science behind it, and that's what I got to know, and that's what attracted and got my curiosity to join URJA, to learn the science behind it, the learn the little things behind it, how to have this journey to have a good lifestyle, which of course will lead you or automatically will lead you towards a physically and mentally fit life. Yeah, so that is from my side. Thank you.
Prina,
Yeah,
what do you
so
say?
uh, for me, lifestyle, and I hear this quite a bit in my, social circles also. We all have 24 hours, and if somebody's achieving a little extra, we say, oh, this person has more than 24 hours in a day. So for me, I think that's what lifestyle is, what we can fit into our 24 hours, starting from, waking up, eating the right meals, movement, and our work. So there is a lot of things that we do as humans, and we have our jobs, we have our family, and kind of finding the balance in that, in a way that at the end of the day we're satisfied with what we have achieved in all areas. And that, I think, again, the first step to knowing what kind of lifestyle um, we personally for ourselves suits is to identify, right, what are the priorities. So for example, for me, health is a priority, having the finances in the right place is a priority. So I've kind of built a certain way of certain routine that can give me the maximum out of my 24 hours. And one important thing that I have learned over my journey is a lot of us are always focused on what we should do, what to do, but it's also important to be aware of what not to do, because, we do unconsciously or like absent-mindedly spend a lot of time doing things that are not really benefiting us. And one example that is pretty common is scrolling the phone. So, knowing and identifying what I should not do is also something that I'm incorporating into my lifestyle. Yeah, so
So,
that's all
of
for me.
course, I mean, I think doom scrolling, as it's also known, is uh, is very common. I think among I think at this point all ages of society, and I think I've even seen my mother, who's in her 70s, doom scroll on Facebook. But if you were to imagine a world where you had 1 extra hour a day, you had like you personally had all of a sudden this magical place where you had 1 extra hour a day, you could do whatever you want. Out of all the things that you guys have both talked about, both Kern and Karina can answer this individually, what were you going to spend that hour on?
Karna, please
Well,
go ahead.
yeah. Thank you, Peter. So, yes, it's a daily, though we have our time to do something for ourselves, but at the same time, it's a challenge daily to take out time to do certain kind of stress, stress relieving exercises, or maybe strength building exercises, maybe some time to do the meditation. So, I think I'll devote that 1 hour for some physical fitness exercises and meditation.
Karina?
Yeah, for me, I think at this point I would like to take that time to read. I feel while life keeps us busy, and when we're young we read a lot, but as we grow up we find less and less time. I personally am finding less time in my life to spend reading, so I'd like to read more for sure.
Mm. Ravish, this might be an interesting question for you to come in as a little bit of a side thing or two. What would you do with your extra hour?
A very interesting question, Philip. And I would apportion that 1 hour into multiple areas. I would put in about another additional 15 minutes to my rhythmic meditative as well as combat martial arts practice, which I'm doing, but I'd like to add more. And I would add a little bit of time to reading. I study language, I study philosophy, I study spirituality, so I would find maybe 10 or 15 minutes I would apportion that time. Um, I explore music a lot to connect it with my both uh, within me and without me in terms of what I'm doing. You and me have looked at music being synced to what we do, and we've continued on with that practice. I would do that. Um, I would also take 5 minutes to just put my feet up and do nothing and just think, right? Maybe 10. I think that's a luxury we must all have and give ourselves to think really. The world is in a very, very super fast mode. Scrolling is just one example, but we are all in a rush, right? We are going somewhere. If you see the roads, if you see meet people, everybody's going somewhere, right? They want to do something. I want to just be in those 10 minutes, 5 minutes. I would add that. I find time for that. I'll add a little more. And
Mm,
if I continue talking, I will tell you five more things for 5 minutes each kind of a slot. So I'm going to pause here, Peter, with these three, four things coming into my 1 hour. I want to make the best
mm,
of it, man, because
mm.
this is all I have, the present, the day today.
Right.
Well, Peter, we would also like to know what about you? How would you devote this 1 hour in case you have this extra 1 hour with you?
Yeah, I would probably take time to decompress. I'm very bad at decompressing, taking time in that way to kind of think about what it is that I'm actually going through and reflecting upon that, and deeply thinking about what actions I can take with the things that I'm facing. I'm very action oriented, so sometimes I need some extra time to think about the actions that I'm taking. What's the purpose behind that? Because I do a lot of things for purpose, but not everything. So I think it would be good to be able to take extra time to understand why I'm performing certain things and what's the thought process behind that, if there is one. Sometimes there isn't. Thank you for asking that. Um, so I think we're gonna kind of continue here in the sort of obviously the slide has changed here, kind of a taking charge slide. So going from the lifestyle, of course, as you're kind of going through and kind of maybe changing your lifestyle, whatever that might be, what does it mean to take charge of your lifestyle, right? That can be quite complicated sometimes. At least me and Ravish have a lot of times talked about taking an action. It doesn't have to be an action like, let's say that you want to take a walk in the morning, but this specific morning you're waking up and you are so unbelievably tired you can hardly get out of bed. But if you actually just get out of bed, then you've taken one action, right? If you're sitting up out of bed, you're taking another action. So they just keep building upon the small little incremental things that you do to kind of get that day going, right? But also then around that, we're going to talk about, so how do you build systems that's going to help you? How do you surround yourself with maybe people who's going to motivate you, communities that's going to help you, people that you can talk to. And so it's, while we focus a lot on self-discipline and self-determination, it is also self-discipline and self-determination to surround yourself in an environment that's going to be helpful, right? So, Farina, in terms of this part, we'll start with you this time. How would you say that you have kind of, if you look at this from a larger perspective, not in these words in detail, but how would you say that you have taken charge, and how are you surrounding yourself in an environment that's kind of enabling you to live the lifestyle that you have just described previously?
So one thing that I have had to work a little bit on was building that routine. And initially, it's not easy. And I think many people experience that whenever we decide like, okay, I'm going to start working out or I'm going to start eating healthy and cutting out junk food. The first phase, it's never easy, um, but the end result is what matters. So I think I've had to practice a lot about focusing on that goal of what I'm trying to achieve, and then kind of staying committed that okay, I have to do this, and it might not be easy right now, it might not be as fun, but once I start doing it, once I get into it, right, with my body and with my mind and with my sweat, once I start adapting into the change that I have decided that I should make for my life myself, then it has become a little easier as time goes by, and it kind of eventually it becomes part of your routine, and you don't even have to actively think about it, or you don't have to be like, oh, do I want to do this, do I want to work out today or not. It kind of becomes a part of the life. So that is how I have looked at many things. And yeah, I think it's a lot on the mindset and not blaming things on the external factors, because there is this word that I use called excusitis. So it's like you have an excuse because the weather is not good, so I'm just going to sleep in, or I have to work till 8 p.m., so I'm not going to. I'm just going to order in and not do anything else. So that overcoming that is something that I think I've kind of learned to do over time.
Colonel, what about you? How do you feel like you've been able to kind of overcome or incorporate this into your life?
Yeah, so I think it was a beautiful way the Parina described it. Yes, it is difficult. It is difficult, but once you form it a routine, you actually feel happy about it, and your brain then remembers that happiness. It gets into recalling the happiness once you have this kind of routine, the healthy routine. So from my side, I morning my morning I start slow, and this is what I have learned in the urja also. The slow is a bit of stretching and the tapping thing. So it is first getting into the rhythm, and slowly then, as per your body, as per you need to listen to your body also, you need to listen to your mind also, and then as per that I slowly transition into my workouts, and maybe whatever I feel like doing that particular day. So it might be yoga, it might be strength, it might be just simple flow of some mobility exercises. So it's very important to listen to your body what it wants, and sometime of course telling it that it needs to do certain things. So it's a beautiful balance that once you do it you will get to know. And if you are telling someone, if you are telling someone about how healthy or how beautiful it is to follow a healthy routine, then you automatically feel like doing it, because once you are not observing, you don't feel, then how can you tell others to follow the same routine? So that also helps, because now we are into turning into a purpose. So once you are following it, then only you will be able to tell others to follow the same routine. And yes, there are some cheat days when you actually don't feel like, maybe you go too easy on your routine. But then for me, it's a uh, I easily then get over that, because as I said, your brain remember the happiness factor, what you achieve once you are into it. So and once you start doing this routine, you get so used to that you won't feel good if you don't follow that kind of routine for a day. You might feel that, okay, today I'll not do anything, or maybe I'm not following, and let me have a total rest. But the second day, automatically your brain will start telling you that you need to get back to your this healthy routine. So yes, it's a slow progress, but you will reach. So that is how I follow it.
Would you both say that you have faced a singular challenge that you thought was harder to overcome than any other? It could be food, it could be people, it could be yourself, whatever that might be. Is there such a thing that you remember?
Yeah, so challenges in terms of food, I think now I have overcome it. So it's not the, if I'm not having unhealthy food, it's not that I'm sacrificing it. I don't feel like having it, because it has become, I just told you, so your brain get used to. It takes time, but then it get used to, and it automatically tells you not to have it. So for a food, I think now I have overcome to say no to uh, unhealthy foods. Sometimes, of course, under pressure, when there is a social circle and you feel like, okay, sometimes you go on with your friends or family, some have it, but then you know that it is not a good thing. And it's only challenge is, if for me it's only time. That is the, yeah, at this phase the challenge is only time. I wish I had more time to do things which I want to. Otherwise, thankfully, I'm into that phase that I can take care. Yeah.
What about you,
For
Karina?
me, yeah, so I remember this was around my mid 20s, like about 6, 7 years ago. So when I was out of college, and in college, you're quite active. There are always things that you are running about to do. But after I started working, it was very difficult for me to start the movement, right? Having some kind of physical movement incorporated into my lifestyle. So I would say I did struggle with that for some time, especially, and it was the COVID time, and I had to be indoors. So it took a lot of creativity as well, YouTube videos and other online products that kind of I had to slowly get into. But still, having that on a daily basis, it would last a couple of days and I would again kind of give up. So that is something that I have had challenges with in the past.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay. It's very interesting. Ravish, do you have any insights on these? I mean, you've gone through a few things, ups and downs in your life yourself. I mean, do you have any challenges in regards to what we're talking about now that you can kind of remember and reminisce about?
So, and I've written about this, my challenges. The first chapter in my book talks about that I was a very high energy kid, right? To the extent of being destructive. Maybe not as destructive as Michael Phelps, but yet very, very high energy. And I would look at outlets. So I would lift, I would run, I would find my outlets, I would paint, I would dance, and I would get obsessive about it, right? If I was dancing, I will dance for 5 hours. I ended up setting up a dance school and all those things. And then you get into your kind of, career and professional life. So I think the way to take charge is, and in my podcast also, and Tap into Life, I ask people about how they were as kids. Because once you connect with who you were as a kid, trust me, Peter, there is a certain realization that happens that who you are in your very being, right? Because we lose track in our jobs, in our careers, in our families. So for me, that thinking that you see out here, right? Uh, Thoughts can get away. Human beings can have hundreds, thousands of thoughts. But at given point of time, it is now known that you can only think one thought. So how do you keep your mind quiet? For me, that is awareness. Um, Not just looking, but actually seeing. When you are aware, you see a lot more, right? When you see, have you ever thought about this, that there are eagles and tigers as mascots for countries and forces? They don't have people as their mascot. I mean, they idolize people, but they look at some of these birds. uh, Falcons saved the Rafales in Japan. So the jets are. So the point that I'm making is, over a period of time, my inspiration for what I do started coming from the universe and the nature. And yesterday I was sitting at the police headquarters and I was looking at three tigers, three lions, and in between that I was seeing eagles. And I was thinking to myself, we've never thought about this as to how we look at human beings as our ideal. So for me, awareness, number one. Number two is my own identity. Better, you remember we used to talk about some 7, 8 years back, and you liked this term when I said I consider myself an urban athlete. And you said I really like that name, urban athlete, right? Rural people have their own, so that's how we started with the urban thing. So for me, that's identity. Once you find that, and it's not about identity about having a uniform or identity of a vice president or identity of founder. No, I'm the kind of a person, right, who will get up at a certain time in the morning and find joy in that, right? I don't have to do that, but I love doing that. So once I am rooted in my identity, I find joy. So awareness, identity, and then, like Colonel said, if it can become, and today Urja is my way of life. I realized as growing up as a kid that energy was something that I had. In hindsight, I realized it was a gift. And then in my purpose, it became about how can I give that gift to the world. So I feel joy, tremendous joy, when I am able to energize a room, whether it is a gym, whether it is 100 policewomen, whether it is commandos, whether it is kids. I just find a lot of joy on a day-to-day basis. So for me, that joy does not come out of something outside. So awareness, identity, and then a way of life has been my way of looking at it. And resilience builds better. When you look at problems like dynamic soaring, one of my favorites, eagles face headwinds, but every headwind they use to fly a little higher. And Peter, you and I have seen each other for the last decade, and you've seen the ups and downs. Entrepreneurship is never easy. We've seen our ups and downs, but for me now it's become how can I catapult further with each setback. So overall, mind, body, spirit, wellness also gives you that grounding to face anything in life, right? It can't just be a unilateral, unidimensional mode. So I can go on and on. I mean, I've talked about it in my book. So anybody who wants to refer to it, Calm Energy is available on Amazon. Yes, Farina, this is the time I kind of, talk about my book as well. So feel free to kind of read it and find out more.
Uh, Thanks everybody for your input. Incredibly valuable things to I think to think about just in general. Um, Karina, should we kind of move forward in conversation, do you think? I think this might be
Yeah,
a
sure.
yeah. So obviously from passion to purpose, I know Ravish asked me this like a while back, like when we talked about this in the last live stream that we had, and when we were talking about nutrition and people kind of think about it, or I get asked a lot at least about how I eat and how I think about it. And I tend to think about it like I eat with intention, right? There's an intention behind, and I do that about 90% of the time, right? Um, a lot of times, like yesterday, me and my wife were out having a dinner. I'm not really thinking about what I'm eating, right? I'm ordering some good food. I'm sitting at a restaurant. but I'm also at the time enjoying a conversation with somebody who I really appreciates, right? So that becomes a different type of appreciation, and we can think about things in different ways. So going from passion to purpose, because I think we a lot of times start at least from a passion side. We at least get something into our heads. Something should change. I should run 10 miles a day or whatever whatever it is that we get into our heads. I should go to the gym and I should go there 7 days a week. I should never miss a single day, right? But that's kind of a passion stage. Everybody tends to go through that. And then we're going to turn that into purpose, which also can become a routine, or there's an intention behind the thought process of what we're actually doing, right? Everybody's going to go to the gym. Everybody can eat well, but are we doing it in a purpose that makes sense to everybody? So I know again, Karina and Colonel, you guys have both gone through this whole process, actually, both of you yourself. And there's one specific part here that we are mentioning in the slide here, which is knowing yourself. And if you wouldn't mind talking about going from passion to purpose, but how you did that within yourself more. Like there is something within yourself that is changing, because you have to, as you start changing things, a lot of things that you might not have thought about before will resurface. It can be emotional distress, it can be other things that you've gone through that will all of a sudden resurface in your mind that you haven't thought about, and now you have to confront that. So if you wouldn't mind kind of talking about going from passion to purpose in your own journey. And Colonel, I think it's your time to start this time, so I'm going to leave a word to you, I think.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. So, I'll say while growing up, we all had some idols, who contributed in what we are today, right? So everyone has many people, but there has to be one people who actually contributed what we are today, how it has shaped our personality. So yes, I also had a good experiences. I have been an NCC cadet, so I have met officers. I have met IPS officers during my camps, and of course, who motivated me, encouraged me, guided me to join services. So thanks to them. And of course, while being in service, it has been a quite professionally satisfying service. But one of the tenure, I was posted in NCC Group headquarter Ahmedabad. There I had a interaction with a young, cadets, so who are still pursuing their studies. And being there, I used to had a word with them, to interact with them, coach them, so that in case any of them are keen to join forces, so we used to provide them guidance. And similarly for the physical activities, there I realized that how much satisfaction, how happy I'm feeling in between them, even if one of them turned into a better human being. So if they are achieving their dreams, well and good. Of course, I'm sure all of them must be doing well and must have. But in case you could contribute even a little bit, so that they can achieve your dream or being turn into a better person, there is a kind of satisfaction in you. So I think this is what we mean turning your passion into a purpose. So when I realized this is giving me happiness, and of course after joining URJA also, I had I'll say 3 sessions with the police women, whom they were trained, and I could see the joy on their face. Once the session was over, there was a joy, and of course that reciprocated as a satisfaction in each one of us, that we at least we did something. So that is what is the purpose, and what can be a greater purpose than turning everyone's lifestyle into a kind of healthy routine, so that everyone is happy. So this is how I think I will like to turn this passion into a purpose. It's not only a healthy lifestyle, it inculcates other things also. If you can contribute any way, maybe some education, maybe some kind of guidance, so it always helps if you see you are contributing something which would be useful to the other person. Yeah. So this is all from my side. Thank you.
Paulina?
Yeah. So for me, I learned like one thing about myself that I learned, and looking back at my childhood as well, is that I'm a naturally very empathetic person. So whenever I'm hosting my friends or in any social gathering, I kind of sometimes go out of my way to make sure everybody's comfortable, everybody's having a good time. So I have that intuitive feeling of making people around me feel good. So as I learned more about that, and um, I learned about the coaching sector as a whole, right? Which at the core of it, coaching is just guiding other people who are looking for some guidance to make their journey easier. So that's where I fell into this URJA and lifestyle coaching as a career, and I really liked it. One, because, like Colonel mentioned, right, I can see visibly that I'm impacting the lives of so many people, which I wouldn't have if I was not here. For example, the women in law enforcement, and I've worked with many school students and teachers, and working with school students is a completely different high. The energy that they have, the smiles and the laughter. Um, so I can see that I'm actually making others feel good, they're having a great time. And apart from that, I'm also imparting some knowledge about lifestyle. They may not learn everything that I am coaching them about, but I know that they're taking something home, and that whatever they take is going to improve their life. So that is kind of my journey and how I look at my career as a lifestyle coach. And yeah, I think this as a career and as a purpose for life is something that people want as well. That's where there is a demand. Whenever we go and speak to any law enforcement senior officers, they love the idea. They're like, yes, this is what we need. And seeing that reaction also, like, it gives a different type of empowering feeling as coaches ourselves.
What would you say about I think there's a point in a person's life also um where you reach a point where you like I'm kind of focusing on the energizing others through coaching here, but I'm thinking about it from a different perspective, and that is from when you yourself feel like you have reached a point where what you know could be helpful to others, you essentially become a teacher, right? You're teaching others who are willing to listen and willing to talk about the things and maybe challenge themselves. Do you feel like there was a point in your life where you feel like I can now take that step? I feel like I can help others to uh, be successful within themselves through what I have learned and what I have gone through.
Uh, yeah, I think so. When I talk about in the context of URJA, the training that we get as coaches, right? The life apprenticeship period, that itself it adds a lot of value because again, it's not a lecture that we're going through where I'm just listening to somebody tell me how to do this, how to practice Urja, how to go and do group coaching. It's very experiential. Like I am there, sitting there, imagining myself um, teaching other people. So that really helps a lot because it's also the visualizing part and the practicing, the self practice, because I cannot teach others if I'm not confident in what I'm doing myself. So the apprenticeship phase is definitely something that built because I was completely new to this when I joined, but that phase really helps me understand my own strength as well. And again, there's a different technique in each coaches, right? Not all coaches are going to go and do the same thing. So it also allowed me to bring something that is my from my personal experience, talk about things and anecdotes that I have faced myself, like I'm doing now, and share it with the group. And I think similarly, Colonel Archana also, she brings a lot from her own experience while she also went through the apprenticeship program, and the foundation is there, but there's a lot from her own experience that comes, and that is quite helpful, and that brings a lot of confidence as coaches.
Colonel, is there something you'd like to add to that? Because you sort of also had this. You've also, of course, as an army officer, you started as essentially an apprenticeship right in the beginning. We don't know anything. I went to the army myself. We know nothing in the beginning, right? And then we learn
Yeah.
things, but then that turns. But then you've had to do that also in your private life, where you've gone from I learned this and now I teach. Was there? How did you feel that transition happening?
Yeah, so yes, it was beautifully brought up by Parina that to deliver to someone else, you have to know it, right? Before having the knowledge, the proper knowledge, you just can't deliver it to others. So yes, we learned during our academy. Then we were there in our younger days. We were in our unit, and there was always a senior to guide us through the process. Right? We call them the subaltern, senior subaltern. Right. So it was a process that we were guided, and then we were taken into that leadership position, and then we became the senior subaltern, right? And it's always a learning process. You not only learn from your senior subaltern, but you do learn from your colleagues as well. You do learn from your juniors as well. It's always a learning process. Even from kids we learn. They have such kind of enthusiasm, so it's a learning process from both ways. So that way you have to be, in a way, to receive also. You have to be open minded to receive as well. So the process has been a gradual, and from a of course from a joinee, from a junior to a leadership position. And I feel confident now because it has been a practical way of turning into a coach. And then also then there also it has never been a stagnant. And for any, like, army is the best. All forces, I'm saying army because I've been part of, otherwise all forces, I think it is their routine. I'll say it is a routine to first train and then get into that officer into a training to giving imparting training to others. So first you are trained for that particular job, and that's where the mindset has developed, that if you want to impart any kind of knowledge or any kind of functioning, any kind of process, then first you need to train yourself. You should know it. So yes, the process has been gradual, but at the same time, because of my training, I'm confident about it.
Hmm. Okay.
I have a question, to Petter and Ravish. You two, as the founding members, this was all your, I don't know, brainchild, as they call it, right? Over 10 years ago. So, what is your perspective on lifestyle coaching, on URJA, and our organization? It started as a fitness oriented um, organization, but then we moved into holistic wellness. So I'd like, you guys to share with us how that journey has been. What was your passion when you started this? What were you thinking, and how do you see it in the future as well? Where does this urja leads us?
But to be clear, this was Ravish's brainchild, right? So let's just let's just set the record straight here. And so when I came on board to Ravish, we met at cafe coffee day a long time ago, and we just instantly kind of connected as individuals, which I think was super important because when you're gonna build this sort of uh, enterprise, this sort of movement, you have to have a lot of resilience, right? the last decade has been ups and downs, and I've been moving around the world, and Ravish has been large part of the time been thinking about how to probably reshape and refocus and do all these things. But there was a point of time where I think we both had a focus on physical fitness purely, I think, at least initially, right? That was our core focus, I think, initially. And I think over a period of time, and I think it has to do with age partially, not to tell anybody how old me and Ravish are, but I think it has to do with age a little bit, where you start thinking about life from a different perspective a little bit, right? There are more to life than physical perspectives of the way you look or the way you approach things or how much you can lift or things like that. And I think for me at least, in our own way, we've done that journey separately, partially. For me, that has massively changed my perspective on how I live, just in general. And I think that's incorporated into, actually, I think that's reflected. We've actually done this journey separately, but we're actually arriving at the same place, funny enough. Because for me, I used to live crazy rigid. I mean, you could tell to the gram what I was eating every single day. I had 4 hour workouts. I mean, I looked like a bodybuilder ripped all day long, right? That is not sustainable. Right? That you cannot live your life that way for 60, 70 years. It's not possible, right? So for me, it has been a journal to refocus and think about also what it means emotionally and mentally in that way. And we've done that journey, but I'll let Ravish take over from here. So
So while I've been an athlete most of my, just tell me if the audio is good.
yeah, it's good, Ravish.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. So I grew up with a love of sports and athletics and everything. And prior to what we called as urban fitness, which became then UF Academy and Studios, is now URJA. I used to coach, work with companies during my consulting career and my previous entrepreneurial career. I used to coach people on multiple areas, right? I used to mentor. And one thing that used to strike me was that people have these 6 habits for effective people, 7 habits, and then eighth habit and ninth habit. And yet at 3, 4 p.m., their shoulders were down. I used to walk in and, mentor people. There, something was missing, and I couldn't pinpoint what that was. Now, for me, it was natural. If I'm interviewing 10 people in a day, I have a half an hour, and if I'm in a hotel, I would just jump into the pool and swim. But I couldn't think about others as to why they don't do it. I didn't spend time. But when I used to coach people, I used to realize that despite all the intellectual development, people were unhappy. Despite the cars and the houses becoming bigger, people were more sick. Despite the fact that people knew more people on Facebook, they were still very lonely. So the contradictions used to hit me, number one. Number two, I've had a love for the rural background. I've grown stuff, and our great grandfathers were, they were had farming and those things. And also, my dad says it was in my DNA. And I used to compare the lifestyles, right? I used to go to the villages to compare the lifestyles. This was 2013, 14 when lifestyle was not even understood as a term. It was considered to be what you have material wise. And I started looking at a difference. I was in a village near Bangalore, I must tell you this, and I walked in and I was looking for a farmland and all at that point of time. This was 2013. And I met this gentleman called Mr. Reddy, 75-year-old, reminded me of that time my grandpa, ramrod straight, 6 by 6 eyesight. I couldn't keep pace with him when he was walking on his farm. Oxford educated, running in a farm, and talking to me about his son who went to the city, and I don't know what he is doing out there. He's working for this multinational and he doesn't keep a right routine. And I was thinking to myself, what will happen to his son when he's 75 with the way he's moving? So all those questions used to hit me. Then I was studying WHO studies and all, and I realized how sick we were getting because of the processed foods. Peter and me hosted a movie called Serial Killer, Cereal. And till that point of time, for a lot of my life, I used to look at these, conflicts, ads and all, where there is a very healthy guy and a very healthy lady and a couple of healthy kids. And no one realizes that those conflicts were killing people or getting them closer to with their processed sugars. So I realized on nutrition. So I realized we were getting unhealthy as a nation. We were healthy in the rural areas. So urban fitness was born. Urban, right? Inspired from the rural part of it. Number three, we saw that the quality of training was poor. We looked at law enforcement. We created an index 2014-15 with NHRD. We said a measure has to be more than, if you go to the moon, you are weightless. So why do people keep, we have become so smart. Our phones are smart, right? We call them smartphones. How do we measure ourselves? We measure ourselves by our weight. Smartest of the people. So we started doing our research internationally. We put a whole research group together. Kind of investment we made, people thought it was crazy. We put up, we used to meet at the Cafe Coffee Day headquarters. The director then, who was the president of NHRD, used to host us. We had ex-director generals of police. We had Olympians used to come together every month discussing what should be the measure. People said we were crazy. Peter loved it, the idea. He says, what an idea to create an index. The stock exchanges, Parina, you are an investor, Colonel, you would invest, and everybody in the room knows and our audience. You measure HR metrics. You measure your report cards in the school, right? But the measure for our health is our weight. And that used to strike me. So we said we will change the language. We will make it positive. And in that, we created country's first assessment, measured the entire Bangalore, few thousand people. Peter and me would be sitting at decathlons, measuring people. People were curious. Why? Because if you remember the train station, you put in a coin in the slot and the lights come on and you see your weight and a forecast on the other side and all. And suddenly the whole thing has become exciting because I realized people don't want to have a negative mindset. So we created an index, right? Third, we looked at trainers and all. So while that time I had become one of the first CrossFit trainers in India. So Petan and me decided we will create our own training methodology. And 2014, we had a few guys whom we were training as instructors. We actually did with Karnataka State Police, did an index, did a 10-week intervention, and we saw the index move. So we thought we had something there. Circa 2019, with the COVID hitting, all these practices that I had practiced, whether it was running, whether it was lifting, still did not give me that peace of mind. And solitude can be a point of great strength if you dive into it. So for me, it was more than the age or experience or anything. It was experiential because I realized over a period of time that your neuropsychology, the neural networks that you have, that's the science of it. So I said, all right, we figured it out that if you change the neuropsychology, neurons that fire together will wire together, right? The toothpaste you use, the car, how you drive your car. If you switch from right to left hand driving, right, suddenly you will be at odds. Why? Because your brain is now being wired to a certain extent. So we had to look at unwiring. Why are people interested in so much in a dance movement, but not in a certain kind of movement? So all those things inspired me to create something new. And in dealing with my own experience, I got to go back to where I came from in terms of what am I looking at. And I realized at the core is energy. Everybody's core. So there was yoga, there is Zumba, but I said it is time for URJA, baby. Better? And that's how URJA was born, to say how can we energize people. And then we got neuropsychology, music, and everything together to create something very, very new. So Parina, and I think everybody in the room knows how passionate I'm about it. And I can spend the next hour really talking about that. But in the interest of time, these are the reasons that India needs, not only India, we need better coaches. We need a formalized training. So our buddy system takes its inspiration from the forces. And Parina, you've seen how successful it has been in terms of you and Nishita coming together. In a way, a Colonel and you coming together, Peter and me coming together as buddies. We've been there as each other's support system, right? So we've built that in. And my vision is to take our coaching across the world, right? Neuropsychology-based group lifestyle coaching. It is the first in the world which actually changes the neural pathways to look at building on community, building on energy. And when you build on your own energy and you energize people, what joy? What joy comes back to you? And that's what we are doing. And like Peter said, URJA is now becoming a movement. It is a movement. And it is moving. So that's what I would say. And yes, more on that as we continue talking. But safe spaces, qualified guidance, buddy system, what you've put in out here, I think has been a lot of self experience, a lot of looking at the environment, but going back, a lot of awareness about what we really need to do, not what we think or what people think, right? Not for showmanship, but for real, right? Authentic coaching is what I wanted to bring in. And I think we've gotten there to a certain extent with all that effort, time, experience, and an amazing community of coaches. Like all the people in the room here, I think I'm very privileged to be working with each one of you and having you as a part of the team who so believe after having gone through. So I really feel privileged and honored that we have had a couple of ex-military officers and IITians sitting out here who's found a way in our life, and more who are coming in internationally as well. So, Parina, like I said, I can go on and on, but I'll pause here.
Great, thank you so much for sharing that. And yeah, URJA truly is a movement. And like you mentioned, right, it starts with us. And I think as coaches, we feel it coming from inside, the energy, the passion, as well as the impact that we're making. So before I move on to sharing a little bit about the certification course, I'd like to ask if Petter, you have any final comments on our
Um,
webinar?
yeah, I mean, I just think what Ravish said is quite profound, right? If you think about the journey um, that a person can go through. For me, solitude. I mean, it's different for everybody, right? For Ravish, he embraced solitude. Thought that was like for him that was a point of growth. He looked at it as an opportunity, and I think that's in and of itself. If you think about things that you are going through in life as that, it's an opportunity for growth. It's not always easy to see that when you are in the middle of something, but looking as challenges as opportunities of growth, I think we're really one step ahead. So I think I'll kind of leave it at that.
Thank you, Petter. Colonel, I'd ask you for any closing comments.
Yeah, I'll say as Urja has this mind body calm energy. So you can't solely work on your mind or on your body or on your body, So it has to be a combined way, and neuroplasticity, as Ravish mentioned, that we need to work on that, and there is a science behind it. So yes, this is what, and we all need to have a healthy lifestyle. And lifestyle, yes, it is a routine summation of everything what you do, which makes you more healthy. That is the lifestyle what Urja is teaching you. So wishing you all a beautiful healthy life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stepping into the style of our lives, Parina. That's lifestyle.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you. I will just take 2 more minutes. I want to share about how you can become URJA Academy certified lifestyle coach, like me and like Colonel. URJA Academy, we have our URJA Lifestyle Coach Certification Program, which is a 90-day hybrid course, which means it will be online coach guided classes along with self determined practice and live assist. So, when we go and conduct URJA programs at various institutions, you'll be able to come and assist us as a part of the certification program. Once you have been certified, you are qualified to coach law enforcement, schools, gyms, communities, and many more sectors as we expand as an organization. So you can learn more at our website, ufaslive.com. You can go through it, look at various certifications, what are the requirements, selection criteria for the certification. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this page and scan this QR code for easy access. So I look forward to you joining us exploring this certification course. Finally, these are some additional resources. We spoke about the book Calm Energy by our founder Ravish Tamija. You can get the ebook access at Amazon. You can again take a screenshot, scan this code, or search the name on Amazon. and get access to this book. It talks about the things that we spoke about today and many more, about how you can harness your own energy to have better lifestyle. On the left side, we have the UF index, which is an authentic measurement tool. Again, we had spoken about this briefly in the webinar. It's a very short 3-minute questionnaire about your body, your lifestyle, your energy levels, your rest and recovery periods. You can go visit it on our website, ufaslive.com/uf index, or again scan this code for easy access. So we've come to the end of the webinar. Thank you, everyone. Thank you to our speakers for joining us. This was very interesting conversation. I think we all take something away ourselves, and we've got to learn a little bit more about each other, which makes it very much interesting and fun in itself.
So just two things, Parina, I'd like to end with. One
Yes.
is on Urja Academy's page, we have a quote, which says that the things we have to learn to do, we learn by doing them. So execution in practice is very important. But energy precedes execution. You got to get into the right energetic frame to actually get into execution. It's been an awesome conversation. I've learned quite a bit as we sort of move forward. So I would just say that step into your power and join the Urja movement.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Super
it
day.
was
Thanks
great. Yeah.
everyone. Super day ahead.
Thank you.
Bye for now.